Good evening. It's your friend Rick. It is December the 21st, 2017. If you would like to inquire about receiving my paperwork, which can be done by making a donation, by emailing me, and you ask me how much, and I will tell you. The email is rick, R-I-C-K, 0327 at me.com. Okay, so this right here is as close to a silver bullet in our world as we're going to find. And a writ of habeas corpus was made as a silver bullet against tyranny and against a out of control government, an out of control administration, and it's still alive today. But it's difficult to file. I mean, it shouldn't be difficult to file, but it is because of the people that we're dealing with. Okay, so you got to understand that child support makes the states of billions of dollars. All right, the state of Texas, the attorney general, there's a video out there on YouTube where he's bragging, not like bragging, but he is bragging about how his state spends $3 billion for the enforcement of child support, and they receive 12 billion. So they spend three to make nine. It's nine, in the black. So they make 12 billion, but they spend three, so they really made $9 billion. It's a business. Okay, that's the reason why they will destroy your rights. And sadly, it's up to us to fight these people. Because once you get caught in this web, it's very difficult to get out. Okay, but there are remedies out there, and one of them is a writ of habeas corpus. Now, I've been saying this for a while, and there's a reason why I haven't made this video until now, because I've been doing my homework and looking for case laws, that says the writ of habeas corpus is how you challenge an unconstitutional act. What they have you believe, and one guy, Kayshawn, he's from Florida, used to be from New York, and having a hard time getting it filed in the appellate court here in Brooklyn because they want everybody to think that the writ of habeas corpus is just to bring the body. Okay, but it's not. And I'm going to go slide by slide and show you guys that it's not just for people who are under bodily restraint. It's also for restraint of liberties. Okay, it's also the challenge to the Constitution of the court. Okay, uh, against void judgments, and that's what all of these child support orders are. They're void judgments. Okay, and that tells me when you have a clerk or the clerk's office giving you a hard time to file paperwork, it's because it's a remedy. All right. And what I was getting at before about how much money the state makes, well, guess that all these people working in the courts, probably $9 out of $10 they receive is coming from money made from child support. Child support goes away, all their jobs go away. And don't think they don't know it. Everybody's in on the scam. And sadly, uh, the state judges, state courts, they are going to enforce these child support as much as they can, even to the point where they're going to violate your civil rights. Or rights. Not civil rights, just violate your rights. All right. And here we go. All right. So here's the first slide. The writ of habeas corpus filed against child support orders and child support proceedings. That's the reason why we're filing it. Okay, child support proceedings that are void. Now, why would they be void? Okay, support proceedings are void if you're before a person, not a judge, also known as a quorum non judice. Okay, so soon as you're in front of one of these people that are not called judge, if they have a different name, it's automatically the support hearing is void. It's automatically void. It's that simple. It really is simple once you know the game. And I figured this out a long time ago. All right, and I told you guys, I may have told you guys a story. I threatened to have the woman arrested even by myself, and nothing happened to me. Okay. All right. So now, how else is a support order void? Well, it's void if it violated due process by being issued without a judgment by peers. It's that simple, guys. Okay. It's really that simple. So if you're being deprived of life, liberty, or property without a trial by jury, it's a void judgment. Now, the reason why you want a trial by jury is because you want an impartial court. A judge or fake judge trying to impose a support order upon you by income withholding so the state may receive 66 cents on the dollar is not an impartial person. Okay, that person is tainted. Okay, that person has a game plan. That person is not your friend. Okay, it's also the support order is void when the court lacks jurisdiction. Okay, where is the proof that the petitioner suffered some type of injury in fact? Without an injury in fact, the petitioner lacks standing, and the petitioner did not meet his or her burden of proof. Okay, I talked about yesterday in my car when I was making my. This is another reason why I gotta approve my comments, because I'm telling you, I'm a magnet to some nutty people. I mean, you should see some of the emails I receive and some of the comments by people. So yesterday the guy, when you watch me talk, I use my hands a lot, and he says I was making the 666 symbol, the hand signal, like that. It's all over the internet with these Masons and stuff, with these secret societies and the hand signs and stuff. So he was accusing me of making a 666 hand sign by making the OK sign. What you do OK, it's really 666. Trust me, guys. One thing I'm not is a Mason. They wouldn't have me. Trust me. All right. So even if I wanted to. All right. Slide number 2. All right. Writ of habeas corpus filed against child support orders and child support proceedings that are void. Well, the reasons to file a writ of habeas corpus, well, here we go. I don't know what happened. Writ of habeas corpus can be used to challenge the jurisdiction of the court. Okay, so it's not just to bring the body. You could also challenge the jurisdiction of the court. This is the case laws right here. Okay, use of writ of habeas corpus against state courts. The writ of habeas corpus serves as an important check on the manner in which state courts pay respect to federal constitutional rights. What are your federal constitutional rights? You have a right to due process. You have a right to a trial by jury. Your property cannot be seized unless by a warrant. You have a right to First Amendment right to be left alone. Okay, things like that. All right. The writ is a fundamental instrument for safeguarding individual freedom against arbitrary and lawless state action. Right here. Harris versus Nelson. Okay, hold on a second here, guys. All right. Because the habeas process delays the finality of a criminal case or civil. However, the Supreme Court in recent years has attempted to police the writ to ensure that the cost of process. What they're saying here is they don't want criminals put back on the street because there might have been a mistake. That's basically what they're saying, which is kind of screwed up. All right, this is the reason why the courts got to do their jobs better. All right, so that's what they said. It was so we are going to be victimized because some courts screw up and they violate a murderer's due process, so that the murderer might end up back on the street because they screwed up. That's basically what they're saying. Now, the writ of habeas corpus must be used by victims of child support fraud. That's us. And it could be our silver bullet, as I said earlier. This is as close to a silver bullet as I found. Okay? So, in Brown versus Velasquez, the court observed that the Supreme Court has recognized the fact that the writ of habeas corpus is the fundamental instrument for safeguard. I just said that before. All right? This here is I have it in my paperwork. Is the reason why we got to file this, because our individual freedoms are being violated by these people. All right, just the mere fact that you could be in a fake court before a fake judge means that you're not being given due process. You're supposed to be before a judicial officer of the court, not before some executive officer. Okay, they're part of the executive branch of state government. Okay, they're employees of the court. They're not elected judges. They're not appointed judges. Really, all they are, they're mercenaries. Really, that's what they are. Mandated to go to create support orders to receive 66%. In New York State, I have information from the New York Bar Association, where they have all these these classes and stuff, and the information you can be found on the internet, and it says that a support magistrate, 67% of their salary is federally funded. Well, it's really 66.6%, but you round it off at 67%. Where do you think that money's coming from? That money's coming from the federal government under Title 4D, 42 USC 658 incentive funds. Okay, that's where the money's coming from. Okay. Therefore, the writ must be administered with the initiative and flexibility essential to ensure that miscarriages of justice within its reach are surfaced and corrected. That's the reason why they're giving us a hard time to file this, the clerks. But you got to fight. I had 3 people today dealing with this today. Every day I got people fighting these people. I got news for you. Listen, I'm getting better at this. All right. So, months ago, people were not having this problem because we were doing it in different ways. I was trying all these different remedies along the way. Okay. And, a lot of times they were just being denied by the courts, and, like doing a writ of quo warranto. But here's the problem: writ of quo warranto, they have different rules in different states. Uh, they make it harder. But here's the thing: a writ of habeas corpus is a constitutional right. There is nothing about a writ of quo warranto in the United States Constitution. There isn't anything in the United States Constitution that I'm aware of about writ of mandamus. Okay, things like that. The writ of habeas corpus is one of the basic constitutional rights that we have that protect us from governmental tyranny. All right, it's been around since the 1200s. Okay, under the Magna Carta. Writ of habeas corpus against child support orders and child support proceedings that are void. All right, the writ of habeas corpus is commonly called the Great Writ. It comes to us from the Magna Carta, I just said that, and is commonly referred to as the poor man's lawyer. That means just by filing this, you don't need a lawyer. The lawyers don't want you to know this because we could file this all day long if we really wanted to. They don't. That's the reason why the judges are working against it. The judges were lawyers at one time. They're all loyal to themselves. These people got to keep their BMW payments going. They got to make their mortgage payments, and it comes at the expense of us. But if you're doing your own research, you're nipping them in the bud. Okay, I would have never prevailed if I didn't do my own research and I didn't keep fighting these people. Okay, so it is actually a complaint at law and embodies a demand to show cause. An order to show cause is really a writ of habeas corpus. Okay, but they call it something different, and it's under these different rules. In New York State, it's almost impossible for a non-lawyer to get an order to show cause signed by a judge. I know because I filed 3 or 4 of them, and every time I had the judge refuse to sign it, and it went before the same judge every time, who coincidentally used to be a family court judge. So what they did was she became a Supreme Court judge here uh, in New York State, and all matrimonial and family court matters goes. She's the gatekeeper. So when I tried to file an order to show cause, it went before her every time, and she's got like the worst rating in the court. She's one of the she's incompetent. I'm not going to say her name though. All right, so show cause in this case the government to answer each and every issue contained in it. Thus, it is intended to force the state to answer why the superior law, federal stare decisis, under the supremacy clause. The supremacy clause really is the uh, stare decisis that requires judges and courts to follow the Constitution. That's another reason why the state courts can't say, well, we federal law does not count in state courts. It's bullshit. Under the Supremacy Clause, Article 6, Section 2 of the United States Constitution requires that all state courts comply with the federal Constitution, really the Constitution. I don't know, they became federal Constitution over the years, but it's the Constitution. Okay, and for those who have asked to the end purpose of this writ of habeas corpus in the nature constitutional challenge, the writ is a proper form to bring a constitutional challenge. All right? Due process, a constitutional challenge. Denial of trial by jury, constitutional challenge. So, writ of habeas corpus is the way to go. Hold on a second here. All right. Writ of habeas corpus against child support orders. Under the Fifth Amendment, the due process is required before deprivation of life, liberty, and property. Therefore, before your property may be deprived, you must be provided with due process. Okay, this is the case I cite all the time. Murray's Lessee versus Hoboken Land and Improvement Company. Remember, it's very simple, guys. If you're going to be deprived of property, it must be by the judgment of his or her peers or the law of the land, which is the due process. Okay? How many of you out there has even seen a trial by jury? No, none of you. Did you waive it? No, don't waive anything. I am not waiving my rights. What is the Supreme Court definition of writ of habeas corpus? Right here. Well, liberty, excuse me, definition of liberty. This is very important right here. What you should do is print this case out and bring it with you when you're going to go file paperwork with the clerk's office, because they're going to give you the old, well, nobody's in jail routine, as I was talked about earlier. All right, so Maya versus Nebraska, 1923. Liberty denotes not merely freedom from bodily restraint, but also the right of the individual to contract, to engage in any of the common occupations of life, to acquire useful knowledge, to marry, establish home, to worship God, for everyday things. Okay? Is your child support order doing that? Is it preventing you from, has it suspended your driver's license? Have they frozen your bank account? Things like that. All right. Now you guys can read this. I'm going to speed this up. All right. Did you waive your right to due process? You must. Down here I have notes. You can't see here. Hold on a second. Yeah. In the bottom here I have notes on every slide. Down here. All right. So read that. Okay. 1 second here. Come on. All right. Case law supporting filing writ of habeas corpus to challenge void judgments instead of filing an appeal. They would rather you file an appeal. No, file a writ of habeas corpus. This is a New York case. Okay. Now this also supports the writ. This supports the quorum non judice. All right. Until it is set aside, the Supreme Court writ of habeas corpus constitutes a final binding determination that the judgment of conviction of the magistrate court was quorum non judice and void. The judgment of conviction. How many of you have been arrested for contempt of court by a judgment issued by a fake judge? Guess what? You've been violated. Your civil rights, your rights have been violated. Okay? All right, we talked about this. These are all the case laws. Okay? These are case laws. Oh, I'm sorry. These are case laws that a writ of habeas corpus is the proper way to challenge a void judgment. How many? They're all void. These judgments, they're all void. So this is the way to go. Writ of habeas corpus. This is to support my assertion. Okay. The law and case laws of writ habeas corpus filings against void judgments, restraint of liberty, that is not a bodily restraint, and orders issued upon deprivation of constitutional rights and violence is close to silver bullet remedy as we're going to find. Okay, so this is now you still are going to have to file the other paperwork. You're still going to have to try to exhaust the remedy. You have to give the court an opportunity to fix their mistakes. Sadly, okay. So that's the reason why we still have to file the paperwork. You still got to file objections. All right, but you know, as soon as they start taking $1 from you, you could file a writ of habeas corpus. If you're one of these people that are still going to support hearings, all right, and they haven't taken any money yet, you still got to go through the dog and pony show. All right, these are not my, this is not my call. This is the courts that they want you to exhaust the remedies. So you got to play the game a little bit. All right, but you got all the slides here. All right, read them. They're yours now. Okay, and it's I have this is my writ of habeas corpus folder. All right, some of them. Well, it's a lot of different stuff here. So like what I do is when you get my paperwork, what I do is I go like this. I come down here and I send it to myself, and then I forward it to you guys, and you get all of these. These are just the writ of habeas corpus folder. All right. Then I have writ of mandamus and writ of prohibition folder. I do the same thing. Come down here, send it to myself, and then I forward it to you. Then I have the objection folder. So if you have a support order issued against you or whatever, boom, these are all my objections. Okay. Affidavits for support. Some of these are doubles, some of them are written the same. It's not a big deal, guys. Just pick the one that works for you. If I might have 3 of them for quorum non judice. It's not a big deal. Don't get yourself all stressed out. Some people out there like, we're just here from the same. Don't worry about it. Just pick the one that works for you. Read it. You have to know the law, guys. You cannot go into court and not know what you're doing. It ain't going to happen. They will trip you up and they will destroy you. Okay? So, like when you get my paperwork, read them. Okay? Also, look, and this is how I would do it again. Look, all of them, and send it to me, and you guys get it. Now, where is it? This is the affidavits that I have you file before going to court. Okay? They come with instructions. See? I'll show you guys. All right? These are the instructions. All right? I don't just send you paperwork and not tell you what to do. Today I created this. What the hell is it? This bit. This one. These are all the instructions for all my paperwork right here. Okay? How to respond. How do you respond to court denying your paperwork? Instructions for affidavits. Instructions for affidavits filed before going to court. Instructions for affidavits to. That's another. Oh, that's the slideshow. I'm sorry. Instructions for the child support agency affidavits, which are. Let me show you guys what that is. All right. These are the affidavits you file to the child support agency. Okay. If you were fired or you got injured, this is a financial hardship letter. Okay, by their rules, they're supposed to back off on the child support payments. Okay, these are instructions. Eventually it'll open up. Hang in there, guys. Come on, today. Look at this. You gotta be kidding me. God almighty. Look at this. I wonder if they're watching me. Look at this thing. They won't let me open it. Here we go. Unbelievable. Look at this thing. Anyway, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. All right. You know what? That's a sign. It's time for me to end this video. All right. So there you have it. All right. The writ of habeas corpus is the way to go. All right. Anybody, if you are interested in receiving my paperwork, reach out to me for a donation that's really not expensive. All right. I know times are tough, but trust me, you're getting a lot more. All right. Nobody out there is going to give you what I give you. Trust me when I tell you this. And I'm always evolving. I'm always trying to find a way for you guys to get out of this mess. Nobody wants you to succeed more than I do. Just picture me every day answering. I know you guys are going through a hard time, but picture me every day answering emails about people's, people that are with me, people who have donated, that are filing the paperwork, and we're dealing with these, clerks and judges denying with no reason, and it's not easy. But we're fighting a good fight. You gotta fight these people. All right, we gotta box them in. All right. So listen, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you guys in a couple days. Bye.